Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper. And I'm about to cry.
Because Dino-Mania is coming to an end. This
Yes.
is the last video we got.
Yes, the epic conclusion to the Jurassic era, as was the tagline for the new Jurassic World Dominion movie.
Right.
We're using it here.
We will have to see if we live up.
My glasses are getting foggy.
We'll have to see if that... Well, it's getting hot in here.
Yes.
All that. And it's getting pretty emotional,
Heating
too.
up.
We'll have to see if we live up to the now I'm totally blanking on Jurassic World Dominion. See if we live up to that hype with our list. But yeah, we've got 8 contenders.
Yes.
8 dinosaur games that we've played.
Yeah. There are a few other dinosaur themed games that we did not have access to. Some of them are Facilis or Fossilis. Gods Love Dinosaurs is one I really wanted to get to, but we just weren't able to. And then Tiny Epic Dinosaurs, and I'm sure there's quite a few others, but we're not able to get around to them.
Right, yeah. I'm guessing there's plenty out there, so yeah, definitely let us know if you maybe played some of these and played some of those that we mentioned that we don't have.
Yeah.
Definitely let us know in the comments below, if you have any suggestions on some great dinosaur games that we have to try out.
Yes, but we were still able to find 8.
We were still able to find 8.
I'll start off. I enjoy all 8 of these.
Yeah, I do as well. I think even the ones that maybe are the lowest on my list, I think they all bring their own little twist on it.
Yeah.
There are some that are very similar.
Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, a lot of them try to go for the same sort of theme of what you're doing in the game, so that's probably why they feel similar.
Yes.
But I think most of them still do some slightly different things from the other ones. So yeah, I would agree that I also enjoy all 8 of these as well.
Yeah. So let's get into number 8.
Yes.
You can lead us off.
I will lead us off, and this one it's kind of a little sad that it's number 8, even though like I said, still like it. But it is Draftosaurus. This one we do not actually own. We played it on Board Game Arena, and it is just a very simple drafting game where you've got the different dinosaurs and they're all different colors, and then you're just putting them on a board in kind of different scoring areas of that board. And then kind of you roll a die and you can only place it in certain areas, which I think is kind of a little restrictive for what the game is, for being so simple otherwise.
Yes.
And then I think it also is not quite long enough. It's one of the very few games that I feel like I wish had a little more. Had just a little bit more to it.
Yeah, I am going to join you here. Number 8 is Draftosaurus for me as well, and I think it's just those few things. Not being able to do that much in the game, you don't get a lot of dinos, as well as, in addition to that, being limited to where you can place those few dinos. Just a little too much restriction for me. For a little game that should just be lighthearted fun.
Right, very snappy, very quick it should be. I was hoping for more of what I got from like Sushi Go Party type feel, where that's all very snappy and it's all very clean. This one's still clean, it's just, those few restrictions to put on it. Sadly, like I said, we didn't actually play it in person, but I think those from what I've seen, dinosaur meeple things of the different colors all look really awesome. So it's really a shame because I was really hoping this one would be like one that I really loved, so we could get a copy ourselves. But I don't think it quite was enough for me to want to buy the game. But I think it's definitely worth trying on Board Game Arena.
Yeah.
Then we go to our number 7. You going to lead us off on your 7?
I'll lead us off. My number 7, we're just going to keep saying this. This is very sad that this is number 7. No. My number 7 is Dinosaur Island, Roar and Write. So this is kind of a roll and write game, which one of the things that I do, let's say positive, really love about the game is the dice. You roll the dice, and I've only played it a couple times, and that was a while ago, so I can't remember all the effects that they do, but you gain DNA from them. You also gain the threat pips from them, and I love that you use the dice as worker placement as well, and you can bump other dice, but then you're going to get that threat level.
Right.
on those dice, and I just really love how they're used in like multiple ways throughout the rounds, the phases of the game. I love all that, but at the same time, I was coming into this hoping for a quicker version of Dinosaur Island, like kind of streamlined, cut out some of the fat, and just make it maybe under an hour. Just a really quick game, but I feel like it pretty much takes everything that was in Dinosaur Island and maybe makes all of those parts a little smaller, but it still brings pretty much everything from that to a roll and write, and I think it's just a little too bloated.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's probably the biggest complaint I'd have for it as well, is that it is a little bit longer than you'd probably hope from a roll and write game. But yeah, that I have a different number 7. So
I wonder what it is. Is it close to
No.
mine? Oh, no. Oh,
it is
no.
Raptor. That is my number 7.
Wow, that was a slap across the face. Right there.
No, I mean, this one, I guess a lot of these we haven't played too much. Raptor we played kind of, each of us kind of being the different, one of us being the raptor, one of us kind of being the scientist or whatever, whoever they are, trying to get the baby raptors. And yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting, fun experience where you're both playing those cards and you're trying to kind of outthink your opponent. Like when you think they are playing whatever certain card, you're kind of like, maybe I can get this action, hoping that they play so-and-so card.
Yeah.
And then they'll only get one action back. Because, yeah, I like the fact that, and this is what feels kind of different from any other game we have a game by the same designer, Nagaraja, which feels sort of similar, but not quite. Where, the winner, whoever plays the higher card, gets actions
equal to the difference between the two. Like each of you has a 1 through 9 card. Whoever plays the lower card gets the action printed on the card. Whoever plays the higher card gets a number of action points to perform just common actions based on the difference between the two numbers.
Yeah, and I think my only complaint, and this is from just a few games, so definitely my opinions could definitely change, but I felt some of the times like I knew what cards I had, and I kind of had an idea of what you had, and I knew what I had left to kind of draw in my deck, because there is one that allows you to like reshuffle and whatever. So I kind of knew what was left since you only have 1 to 9, and I knew I really had no chance of winning. But I could prolong the game, even though I knew like the ultimate, or eventually I was not going to do it.
If your refresh card is late in the deck, then a lot of that information gets put out on the table and can really help your opponent.
Right. So I think that's what keeps it interesting, but at the same time, it could be devastating. No, I don't think it's devastating. It's still a quick game, so it's still good.
Yeah. So that was 7.
Yes, and I'll go
6.
to number 6, which I think is the one you thought I was going to possibly say, and that is Welcome to Dino World. And I would say this is very similar, not quite. The Dinosaur Island Roar and Write. These all have Dino in their names.
Yes.
It gets a little confusing, but the Dinosaur Island Roar and Write has a little more going on, I think, or maybe even a lot more going on. So I think this one was just a little simpler than I wanted. I guess in my dinosaur games, I don't maybe mind the bloat as much. It definitely makes some of them harder to get to the table. Yes. I will say that. Yes. But I do like the grand, huge experience to the game. So I feel like this just is a little bit not enough for what I want. But I could definitely see if you want a smaller feeling, a little bit quicker, and you still get a lot of that, and a lot of that same experience.
And we did play on the easy mode, as
right?
Well, so
we did.
We don't know what changes exactly are made.
That is true. So, and maybe with that, there's a little bit more to the game as well. But But I think you'd still have a really good time with this one because it still has a lot of those same sort of, like some of the other ones do, the running your park. And, it kind of has a lot of those same different things, but still feels a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I would probably compare it most closely to the Dinosaur Island Roar and Write. I would say if you want something, or if you've maybe played Dinosaur Island, you could maybe go with the Roar and Write, because then I think you're going to kind of know a lot of have a lot of things that are similar.
Yep.
But yeah, if you haven't played either one, I think you'd definitely be fine getting either one of those.
Yeah, I'm matching up with you again here. My 6 is Welcome to Dino World. I think this is probably a little more what I was looking for in Roar and Write, just a smaller game, because if I want a big run your dinosaur park, I'm going to go with one of the bigger games, where Roar and Write kind of just kept trying to be a big game. This one is a little more toned down, and one of the things that I do really like in this versus Roar and Write is when you build the dinosaur pens, it tells you how many squares it has to be, but you can make that whatever shape you want.
That's true. Whereas is a fun thing.
The other one, I think it was just like a square like a 2x2 or 3x3.
Yep.
I just really liked. I've
really
never seen a game, polyomino game, where it's just like
where you get to pick your polyomino.
Here's the amount of squares it has to be, but make it however you want.
That's true.
That was really unique.
I will say I agree with that. That's really cool because I'm surprised more haven't done that, especially for the number of roll and write or whatever and writes that use polyomino shit. So many of them do use it, and I'm actually I hadn't really thought about that, but now that you say that, I'm really shocked that I don't know of any other ones that have used a pick your own polyomino shape with this many squares in it. So, that is a really cool thing about that one.
On the other hand, they are very similar. I think if you want some really cool dice placement, I think Roar and Write has that, but this does have that unique polyomino.
And I think the last thing I would say just is probably for production. I think out of all of them, that one, Welcome to Dino World, probably has the lowest production value.
I would say so.
But some of the other ones are probably overproduced, maybe a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, but that's like I've said. I like that grand experience in a dinosaur game. So, but it's definitely still a solid game.
So on to number 5. This is the first big dinosaur game on here, and this is going to be the original Dinosaur Island. And I think this is moved down simply because more games have come along, especially more big dinosaur park themed games.
Right.
It still has a phenomenal production. I love the way the phases are split up. Even if that turns it into a gigantic table hog.
Yes.
It still delivers that feel of running your dinosaur park.
It does.
I mean, you can watch our Triceratops Chippy and see that I still really, really love this game. But it has been bumped down just because there are more games, and you could say maybe it has been replaced.
Right. Possibly. You could say that. And I would say that same thing because my number 5 is also Dinosaur Island. I would agree with everything you said. It's still very solid. The boards, lay out the phases like you said, and it's just very clean as to knowing, okay, we do that, then that, then that, then that. And the worker placement is interesting where right away you're placing down those scientist tokens, and you pick some DNA dice or pick some dinosaurs or increase your cool storage or whatever. Or even you have the option to not use that anything and save them for an additional worker later on, which is really cool to be able to bring those. And then kind of is the one that introduced a lot of the things that may be in a future game that they made. I still really like it, and it's still got a pretty solid production. I don't think we got the original Kickstarter, and now I think they actually, in our copy, we had just one pink Triceratops type dinosaur, and now I think they changed it so that now there's 3 different types in there, which I wish we had, but now at this point, with some of the other games we have, I don't know that it's worth getting that. So, but no, it's definitely still a solid Dinosaur game, and it isn't too complex.
No. I think, they do a really good job with that kind of layout to walk you through it, and it just makes sense with the theme.
Yeah, so then we get to my number 4, which finally goes back and matches your number 7, Dinosaur Island Roar and Write. I really like this one. I like the bumping, and you can actually throughout Dino-Mania, we did some videos on. I don't know if we did too many of these so far, but I did do the Dinosaur Island Roar and Write solo playthrough. I'm sure I know I got some things wrong, but I think that's just always the case with solo games. It's so easy to miss stuff, and you don't have anyone to really tell you. Then looking back, you can be like, oh, whoops. But no, I actually had I don't play mini games solo, but I really had a good experience with that one. And I love that you draft the dice, and then also use them as your workers. There's only those, I think, 5 actions that you can take, 4 or whatever it is. And in the solo game, I don't know if you played it solo.
Yeah, one time. Yep.
Yeah, I thought it worked pretty well. Yeah. They always seemed to take the ones that I specifically needed. It was funny. I think during the playthrough, I even had one time where I laid them out, and I said, oh, well, as long as they don't take, I don't know if it's the 3rd and the 6th die or whatever, and then I flip it over and it's those 2, and I'm like, or I think I called it. I said, oh, they're going to take those ones, and then they did. And I'm like, yep, typical, even though it has no idea how I placed them out there. But it just made for those fun moments. I like those dice. Yeah. And I like, I guess I like kind of bigger flip and right or roll and ride or whatever you want to call it. I like when a lot is going on. I would say I like the shape, or being able to draw your own polyomino shapes from the Welcome to Dino World. Probably just a little bit better than just having all the square shapes. I find it also interesting. I always like bonuses in games, so like getting those different food, clothing, amusement, or rides or whatever. I like how those kind of give you some bonuses that you can use each round, and all those ongoing things.
Is that like a security track, and that gives you bonuses along the way? I like that.
Yeah, so. I like that quite a bit. I think that's kind of... I haven't played it in a while, but I feel like that's similar to like Fleet the Dice games. But I really like the game.
It's always trying to get me to play Fleet the Dice games.
I really like it. So
that was your number 4?
Yes, it was.
My number 4... We're not going to have the same. I was thinking maybe we evened out and now we'll have the same top 3, but we will not.
I didn't think we would.
This is Unmatched, Dr. Sattler versus T-Rex. I had a hard time with this because I'm like, do I include kind of the whole Unmatched kind of thing? Because I think the best thing about Unmatched is that you can match up all these different characters. And if I'm just ranking it on this one game, it only comes with 2. And the T-Rex is just very, very unique. To where I don't know if there's that much replayability that I could put this higher. But that aside, I do love the Unmatched system, and I do love the T-Rex, and Dr. Sattler as well, with the Jeff Goldblum, Ian Malcolm miniature that we paid a little extra for, sliding around the map.
Right.
I really love the system, the Unmatched system, and the characters feel really, really unique. And we have not gotten the other set of Jurassic.
I was going to ask you, do you think if it was a 4-pack?
If it was a 4-pack.
I mean, we haven't looked into that much, so I doubt you know what I don't know what the Raptors do, or what the InGen or Mondoon or whoever the other one is. I don't know what they do exactly, but do you think that would have pushed it up if you had 4 characters?
I think if it had 4 characters, I think this would be bumped up. Yes. Okay. I didn't feel like I could put it up just because it is 2 characters and there's not that much replayability. I mean, there is replayability, but still, I do really love it. It is my 4th favorite of 8 games that I really, really like.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
So yes, my turn to do my number 3, and this is Raptor.
Ooh.
So I guess it's kind of the same thing, except it's trying to be a 2-player only game. And it doesn't have the whole unmatched system. I guess I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because this does only have 2 characters.
Right.
But it's a little different because I had been exposed to all those characters from unmatched. To just have 2 feels a little lacking.
Yeah.
But yeah, Raptor, like you talked about, that card play is the heart of the game. And it's just so unique and so thinky, trying to think what your opponent has played. You maybe know a few cards that are out of their deck, but that still leaves 6 more that could be in their hand or still that they haven't drawn. So what do you play? And it's not like you have the same deck of cards, so I think with more plays, you get to know both decks better, and I think, like Unmatched, the more you play it, the more fun it will be, knowing what that opponent has.
Right.
And just the theme, kind of one of my favorite sequences in Jurassic Park with Mondoon going out and battling the raptors, and that just comes across completely in this game. Even though in this one you are kind of capturing the baby raptors, it's pretty much that scene.
Right.
I really like it. It's from Bruno Catala, one of my favorite designers, maybe my favorite designer, and he just always introduces something clever in the game.
Yeah, it's a solid game. Can't argue with that. But yeah, my number 3. This might shock you. Your hat might fall off.
I had to take my glasses off like Grant when he first sees the dinosaur.
Yes, it is. Dinosaur World.
Wow.
I really love Dinosaur World, and we have the all-in Kickstarter, deluxeified, everything. And yeah, it has a lot of what you get in Dinosaur Island. I think the fact that it has a lot of that core still is what maybe takes it down. Gameplay wise, I think this is the most thinky, and it's probably my favorite. Maybe Dinosaur Park game to play, but I think it's just a little bit long, a little bit maybe too much going on sometimes, but I still like it to be it to be big, and I just don't know if it's. I guess maybe my top ones here were ones that I could play several times in a row, and still get a big feel. Maybe not a big feel for one of them as big. But yeah, I guess these top 3, I think, depending on what I'm feeling like, could probably all change. But yeah, I like the Jeeple tour that it adds. It's a very interesting thing that I didn't know Dinosaur Island needed, but it definitely turned it into Dinosaur World. I think that was the big difference, along with you're building out it with tiles instead of just having a set thing that you're just adding tiles to, which I really enjoyed, trying to not only get the tiles and put them out there, but figuring out a good order to put them in to take a Jeeple tour on. But yeah, there's a lot to the game to like, and I think it takes away some of the things from Dinosaur Island, like the limits on DNA that aren't quite as fun.
Having to upgrade those dinosaur paddocks from level 1 to hold 1 dinosaur to 2 to hold 2.
Right. Those couple of things that are just more upkeep type feeling don't really feel that fun. They get rid of some of those, which is awesome, which makes it definitely a great experience. But yeah, that's number 3.
That was shocking, I will say. That was shocking.
It is shocking, but do you know what my number 2 is?
I don't know at this point. I don't know anything anymore.
See, I might have cheated a little bit because I think, for number 2, I have Unmatched, the Jurassic Park one. I might have cheated a little bit because I was viewing it more with the rest of the Unmatched a little bit.
I had a hard time with what to do.
As a game by itself, I would agree with you that it probably would be maybe 3 or 4 for me. Just because, it's limited in just the 2 characters. it's still a lot of fun, but as 2, like you said, it kind of could feel like you're trying to play out sort of a same game. But it could probably be true from any one unmatched set if it only comes with 2 characters. I wish it came with the Raptors and Mondoon, or I think it's Mondoon. Yeah, it is. I wish it came with all 4. That would definitely solidify it here for me. But I really love mixing. I think the reason I allowed it to be up here is because it wasn't just the unmatched set, but the fact that you can face off the T-Rex with so many other things. Yeah. I think that's why it's just very exciting to me, because half of these are build your park and do that sort of thing, which is good. It's fun. I really like that. It feels like a zoo tycoon type feel almost, which is really cool. But sometimes I want a little bit different in my dinosaur game, and it's just fun thinking of not only like the movies where he's chasing down the Jeep and they got to go faster,
must go faster,
and kind of chasing down the other unmatched characters is just a really fun, and it seems very thematic to me. I thought when we played through just those 2 characters, it felt thematic, like the T-Rex was. Because I don't know that he's the fastest thing ever, but he's kind of...
He can reach far. He moves slowly, but he moves far. And they're kind of just running away, trying to maneuver strategically around him. So,
I felt that came through. And it is the one that is actually Jurassic Park IP.
That's true. That is true. It actually has that logo on there.
Right. Not quite the slightly different Triceratops. That is definitely not good. But no.
It is good, and I'd say, because we kind of matched up.
We unmatched up.
We kind of took all the sets we had and just each drafted 3 characters and just matched up randomly. And I think that's the funnest way to play unmatched. So if I was considering it as that, I think it would have been higher for me. But So on to my number 2. It is Dinosaur World.
Oh boy.
I think a little bit like what you said, what's a game that you can sit down and play multiple times in a row, or just get to playing that is more approachable. This one is not as much that as our shared number 1 is going to be.
Right.
It has a lot to it, but thankfully, with all that stuff they added, including the Jeeple Tour, which is so cool and so fun, they have removed some of those restrictions and kind of the feeding your people mechanism of upgrading the paddocks and having a limit on DNA. I just was so happy that they removed that. And it just has a lot more depth, I think. I think it has the most depth of any game on this list.
By far.
Yeah, for sure. And we have the 3 expansions, and I'm really looking forward to exploring those. And it just has so much that I love about the game. It's huge. And they're pretty much everything, but just that one little boredom tokens. Everything else is like phenomenal production, at least in our all-in copy. It's Dinosaur Island, but brought up like
3-4
notches.
I would agree. I think long term, if you were playing these over and over and over and over, this is Dinosaur World's the one you would get the most plays out of, and that's why it might be the best dinosaur game if you're looking at it that way. If you're looking at the unmatched set as by itself, then it's definitely more. If you were including the other unmatched sets, it could maybe compete, but I would agree. Then we get to our joint number 1. Which I honestly, until maybe recently, I did not think that this would be your number 1. I really thought you would probably prefer Dinosaur World.
I thought I would too, and like you said, in the long run, it might win out possibly just because of that depth. And I think it does have more depth than our number one, which, I mean, let's just say it. It is Dino-Genics, which is kind of, the last of the big three that we had actually gotten.
Yes.
We had to make a choice in 2019, I think it was, for my birthday. You got me Dinosaur Island, which quickly became my number one game of all time. And I don't know if you made a choice at that time, but I know before that we had been choosing or thinking between that and Dino-Genics. And there really wasn't a majority, consensus online as to which one is better.
Right. I just think that this one was better distributed and brought to kind of more people than Dino-Genics. I don't think has been kind of as easily accessible or available, because I think they've mainly sold that from their site or the Kickstarters, and that's been limited as well. So it's definitely not, Dino-Genics isn't out there as much, whereas Dinosaur Island at the time and throughout the whole however many years between getting that and when we got Dino-Genics has been pretty readily available, I think.
But kind of with the look of the cover of the game, and then you hear there's kind of maybe some take that cards in there, and then kind of to build the dinosaurs, you're not gaining DNA to put them together, you're just getting set collection of like 4 cards. It sounds like this might be a step back or a step down to a simpler game, maybe a little more chaotic, and I think there is more chaos. As you can see in our playthrough of it, one of us had our park completely destroyed with Scandal, which
very scandalous.
They don't know who it is.
It could be either one of us.
Tell that from the long face. But even with those worries, it completely blew me away with how approachable the game is and how much fun it is. I don't mind the set collection of the cards, no matter even how simple that is. And it feels like, what if the cards just don't come out? I mean, they could. They might not.
I feel like that's happened to me almost every game until our playthrough, and that did not end up working out for me. Spoiler. When I finally did get them, because I feel like multiple times I've tried to get like the T-Rex. And even if I had it to start with, and I just can never get the T-Rex card, possibly. So and I think it can happen.
There's more ways to mitigate that in Dinosaur World, which I think might go to, that may be the better game, I guess, if we had to say. But Dino-Genics is, I think it's probably that playthrough, seeing that chaos for me from a kind of a above point of view, not actually being in the chaos. It just, that's what's in my brain for this game, and that's something that I don't think any other Dino game can deliver.
I would agree with almost all those points, and I think that set collection of cards, then the way the worker placement works in the game, it feels very much like a classic game.
Oh, yes.
Which, it feels like a classic worker placement, classic Euro type game. Like you said, the way it works is very simple. I mean, I think Dinosaur Island is pretty close to the same level as that, but even Dinosaur Island, I think, might be just slightly above this one in complexity of, but it's not that much heavier. But then when you get to the other one, it's quite a bit more, I think. But I really love the look of the game. I think that's what really wins me over, the wooden components versus plastic in those ones.
They're equal for me, but I know you really prefer kind of the classic look.
I prefer the classic wood dinosaur meeples, especially since these ones are all different too. They had different colors and they're different shapes, which is really surprising. but I think with the limited amount that they've made, I think they've all pretty much made them probably the highest version of the game that they have, would be my guess. So upgraded already, kind of, in a way.
And you got those, really those little fence tokens.
The fence tokens are really what wins me over. It really feels, because it becomes a very 3D type feeling, I think that's what really makes me feel the most like I'm building a dinosaur park, personally. So that's why it's my number one. Even though typically I would probably pick heavier games and stuff, so typically I would probably end up picking something like Dinosaur World, but just something about Dino-Genics speaks to me more.
Yeah.
But I think those those three to me are probably a bit above the rest of them. Dinogenics, Unmatched, and Dinosaur World.
Yeah.
Granted, Unmatched, like I said, kind of including some other unmatched sets at least a couple of them, or one or two.
Yeah. I would say that Dinosaur World and Dinogenics are probably easily my top two for this. If you include all that Unmatched goodness, that could come close, I think. But those ones are, I think, solidly my 1 and 2. But I think they could kind of change spots as the time goes on, and I have played Dinogenics more than Dinosaur World because it's more approachable, and I do prefer that solo mode as well. So I think that comes into play a little more just with the experience that I have with that.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that is the end of our video here, end of our rankings, the end of Dino-Mania.
Yes, gonna have to take the hat off.
Gonna have to take that hat off that he's been wearing for the entire month so far.
Non-stop.
Non-stop. He hasn't taken it off. Except when he was shocked there, he might have taken it off.
Yes.
That was the first time. No. But yeah, if you've been watching along or subscribed and been following with us, we appreciate it.
Yes.
And definitely, if this is the first one you're watching, if any of these sounded interesting, and we have videos out there on them, I don't know if we have something on every one of them, but
it's like you said, we have a kind of review of Draftosaurus. I'll just go through kind of the content that I know we have. The Roar and Write, we did a first impression, kind of the unboxing, as well as we did a playthrough. Welcome to Dino World, we did a first impression kind of review of. Dinosaur Island was featured in our Triceratops Chippy, along with Dinogenics and Dino World. And Dinogenics and Dino World all have their kind of own unboxings and kind of reviews as well. Raptor has a kind of review video as well as Unmatched. So you can pretty much find a little more content for each of the games.
Yep. So yeah, if any of them sound interesting, definitely go check out those to maybe learn a little bit more. But
check out the Dino-Mania playlist.
Yes, check it all out.
What is your favorite dinosaur-themed game?
And what is your favorite?
And what is your favorite dinosaur? Yes.
That's what I was going to say.
I should have thought
For a second, I thought you were going to say, and why I didn't continue with that saying, I thought you might say dinosaur movie.
Oh, yeah.
But then you stopped at dinosaur, just like I was going to say. So we were thinking the same thing. But also, what's your favorite Jurassic Park movie or Jurassic World? If you have that, we have some videos on that as well. It's a little bit different than the board game stuff we do, and it was a little long, so we chopped that into 3 pieces. But you can check out if you want to just check out our rankings on what we think of the movies, you can check that video out. But otherwise, we're very thankful for you watching along, and we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on our content.